Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Evil Dead Rise. And this movie came out in 2023, and it's directed by Lee Cronin. If I pronounced that correctly, I have no idea. I've never seen any of his movies before, and I believe this is his second feature film. And before I get into this movie, I'll just talk about the other Evil Dead movies. As far as the original trilogy goes, I'll just go one by one. I think the first one is fine. I think there's a lot to appreciate about it. Like technically, like how it's shot, it's very interesting and creative for a movie that was made for nothing. And from that point of view, I think it's good, but it's kind of boring for me to watch. And the only really entertaining way I can watch it is if I'm watching it with the commentary by Bruce Campbell that's on the DVD, and that's my ideal way of watching that movie, because that's just the only way I can watch it and be entertained. Because the first half, it kind of works for me, second half gets really boring. And I've seen that movie about 4 times now, and the second movie I enjoy a lot more. I enjoy the comedy because I like this Evil Dead series more for its humor than its horror, because I think the humor works a lot better than the horror. And the second movie, it kind of blends horror and comedy, and surprisingly enough, both kind of work for me in that movie. The same thing goes for Army of Darkness, but better for me because it's just about all humor, very little horror from memory. And I've only seen that movie once, but from what I remember, it was very enjoyable, and I had a blast watching it. And I've also seen the first 2 seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Those are a lot of fun for me. They're very funny and just a blast to watch. And I haven't seen the Evil Dead remake from 2013, and that's the only Evil Dead related property that I haven't seen yet, along with season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. So I'm quite familiar with this series, and going into this movie, I had like no expectations because I wasn't sure what to expect really. Because from the marketing, it looked like it was just going to be another horror movie. And what I will say is that it is mostly a horror movie, but out of any of the attempts this franchise had at being a horror movie, this one's probably my favorite. I know that's not saying a lot, but I think it was kind of successful in being kind of scary, but also maintaining the overall experience of the previous Evil Dead movies that I've seen. And it was kind of goofy at points and kind of fun, and there was plenty of cheese and kind of almost scary moments that were kind of creepy ideas that I did enjoy. And the movie never got super predictable, especially in the first half. Second half, you can kind of guess where it's going, but even when you get to that point, it's not like super disappointing. It's like kind of fun when you get to that point. I also enjoyed that this movie was very small scale and basically a better version of the original movie for me, and kind of fixed some of those issues that I had. Like, I never really found this movie boring, and I enjoyed like some things about it that were like different enough. Even though it is very much like the same thing again, it was different enough for it to be a new thing. And I liked the characters, and I liked what the movie did. And my biggest issue with this movie would be the opening scene and the last minute of the movie, because it's just kind of unnecessary and doesn't really need to be there. I did enjoy how the title of the movie came into the film. Like, that was kind of fun. Aside from that, opening scene and ending scene kind of pointless, and I get it. Like, the opening scene is just to set the tone for the movie, and it did. It very much did that, but story-wise, didn't need to be there, not really, but I would be fine with it had we not gotten that last minute. Well, not really spoilers, but like, where it kind of ruins what's to come, like, later on in the movie, well, I guess technically earlier in the movie. If you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to keep it kind of vague, but it's kind of the worst part of the movie for me. But the rest of the movie works. like for the most part. Like it's not like the scariest movie ever. It's not like a movie that I'm popping in to watch for the scares. It's more just like the experience of like it carrying the tone of the Evil Dead movies that I enjoy a lot, and there was lots of blood in this movie, and that was always fun. And I enjoyed the gore. It was fun. And I also enjoyed like how they actually got the antagonists of the movie correct. Like they kind of talk it in a way that's like in any other movie it would be kind of annoying, like just shut up and just be a character that doesn't speak at all. But like in this movie it's kind of played a little bit for laughs and also kind of horror. Like in Ash versus Evil Dead, I think what they call them are Deadites. I'm not sure if they call them that in any of the movies, but I'm just going to call them Deadites because I that show's just in my head right now. And I would like to review it someday, but getting a little bit off topic. Back to Evil Dead Rise. It's a good movie that I think captures what I'm looking for from this franchise at this point. And if you haven't seen this movie, I would recommend it. And you don't necessarily have to watch the previous Evil Dead movies to get into this one, I don't think. I don't think this movie's perfect, but where it works, it does work. Where it doesn't really work, it's mostly just like personal preference and like just me not being super attached to like what's going on. And the youngest child actor, I didn't think she was great because she kind of had an accent that was going all over the place at a few points in the film, and she was kind of distracting. But I did enjoy where the story went in certain scenes, and I would recommend this movie to you. If you're a fan of the franchise, or if you're new to the franchise, then this is not really a bad place to start. So check this movie out if you haven't already. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Evil Dead Rise a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Evil Dead Rise, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for 12 Strong. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.